Let me get this out of the way first. I already see some people typing song requests or "Where's more Paper Mario" in the comments section before even hearing a word I say. Take your hands off your keyboard for a second and listen. This is a really important issue that affects online users among many major social media platforms. I don't want to see those comments in this video. Not today. This is serious. I'm taking time out of my busy schedule to talk about something that could hurt a lot of people. Listening? Good. Let's get down to business. So for the past few months, my friend Helion White, who is an illustrator who has done work such as prints for various voice actors from Fire Emblem Three Houses, Genshin Impact, etc., has had their main Twitter account suspended, rendering them unable to find materials needed for their work or communicate with clients. Why? No good reason. Literally, the given reason wasn't any good. Apparently, Heli had made a joke tweet about a friend in Final Fantasy XIV, just a bit of friendly, playful banter, but Twitter bots took it as a legitimate threat and suspended their account. They deleted this tweet as instructed upon regaining brief access to their Twitter. However, soon after they were suspended again, with the reason given being Twitter rules against managing multiple accounts for abusive purposes. And this is something that they pointedly did not do. Let me explain. Heli made an alternative account for posting about Final Fantasy XIV so as not to clutter their work account with gaming posts. This, combined with a jokey tweet Heli made towards their friend, likely triggered the automated moderation system Twitter has in place, resulting in an account suspension. You can pause the video to read over Heli's statement, which I'm going to put up in the video right about now. But here's the rub. Why wasn't the account restored after this was corrected? After months of appeal after unanswered appeal. As it turns out, some schmendrick out there with a personal vendetta against Heli was celebrating their suspension, spamming those who came out in support of Heli with messages about, "Oh, Heli must have done something wrong, blah blah blah." This led us to believe that this was an intended attack on Heli's Twitter. I don't know whether the motivation was envy for their success or some kind of revenge plot, but whatever the reason, Twitter seems to be siding with the abuser instead of Heli. At the time of making this video, Heli is now unable to make tweets on their backup account, and Twitter threatened to suspend any further alternatives that they make. Now, as a content creator on YouTube, I'm no stranger to getting screwed over by the automated systems myself. Heck, look back at the entire Bomb Battlefield fiasco. YouTube ID'd the Mario theme and attributed it to Sony, and ruled the appeal in favor of the company, even though Nintendo's policy allows for use of Nintendo music in videos. In fact, there are plenty of other examples of content ID abuse on YouTube. Generic wind sounds and other ambience get misattributed and copyright claims are levied. I know a man on the internet ran into some problems with this in the past, and get this, the company who administered the claim is the one responsible for verifying that the claim is fraudulent or incorrect. And you know how corporations are. We live in a capitalist society after all. Who has time to review one case out of a sea of videos? This must be our content, they say, brushing aside the fact that not a single second of audio they own can be heard in the video. Cough, Sony, cough. These systems are easily manipulated by those with power or malicious intent to hurt honest content creators. And that's because bots flag content based on certain criteria, without going into the intricacies that a human mind and conscience can take into account before passing judgment. Because these systems are automated and rigged in favor of the accusers, abusers can take advantage of this and totally screw good, noble artists over. I mean, who's gonna look over these cases? A human being? Preposterous! That's not in the budget of Faceless Tech Mogul Incorporated! And so, artists continue to suffer. I could go on and on about how corporate greed leads to reluctance to pay actual humans to look over such cases as these, but the bottom line is that victims of these systems fight an uphill battle to be able to work online. But Juno, you may ask, why should we care about some artists on Twitter? Well, remember when I talked about how content ID often screwed YouTubers such as me, your man on the internet? You know how Twitch streamers live in constant fear of, copyrighted music coming in to shut down their entire livelihoods? There was an entire law last year that was a huge threat. How can creators like Heli, me, Alex, or so many others share our work while living under the yoke of automation? This is something that threatens artists all over the internet. Our expression and livelihoods are in constant danger of being taken away at the whims of a few simple lines of code meant to replace a worker who could do the same job but better, just to save a drop in the bucket of a CEO's salary. I don't expect to start a movement here, people. I don't know how much one incident can change when this happens to so many artists on Twitter who get nuked by these faulty systems. But perhaps this will be the one that gets Twitter to actually listen, to actually do something, and send a real person to look over this gross miscarriage of justice. For now, I just ask this. Those of you who are on Twitter, please spread the tweets in the description below. I'll also be pinning them in the comments section. Make a statement to @TwitterSupport if you feel able to, but no pressure if all you can think to do is retweet. The message just needs to spread. Thank you for your time, and thank you especially to those of you who can actually pitch in to spread the message. Twitter support really needs to actually do its job. And, Heli, I'm so sorry this is happening to you. Shame on the person who is harassing you. I hope you can recover your account and that this doesn't shut down your success.